Does the world reward the immoral? Imagine this. You're in a room full of ambitious people, all striving for success. Some work hard, play fair, and stay true to their values. Others lie, cheat, and manipulate without remorse. And yet time and time again, it seems to be the ruthless who climb the highest. This isn't just a modern dilemma, it's a timeless human pattern. From emperors to CEOs, from tyrants to tech moguls, history shows us a harsh truth. Morality alone does not guarantee success. In fact, it can sometimes feel like a disadvantage. So, is the world truly rigged in favor of the worst among us? The evidence is hard to ignore. Those who dare to break the rules often control those who follow them. Those who act without hesitation seize opportunities, while others wait for permission. Why does this happen? The answer lies not in conspiracy, but in human nature itself. We evolved in a world of scarcity and conflict. In such an environment, traits like dominance, fearlessness, and aggression often proved more effective than cooperation or compassion. Evolution didn't reward kindness, it rewarded results. The ability to act without being paralyzed by doubt or morality was often the key to survival. This isn't to say that empathy and fairness have no value, but in the brutal game of power, they can become liabilities when not paired with strategic thinking. Modern society, with its laws, institutions, and ideals, gives the illusion that fairness governs all. But beneath the surface, the primal battle for dominance still rages. Power structures may change, but the core dynamic remains. Those who are willing to push boundaries often get ahead, not because they are better, but because they are bolder. The uncomfortable truth is that the world does not operate according to moral balance. There is no cosmic scorekeeper, ensuring that good people always win and bad people always fall. Sometimes those who do the most harm wear the biggest crowns. This isn't an accident, it's a function of how power operates. It moves toward those who understand it, not those who hope it will treat them kindly. But this realization doesn't mean we must abandon our values. Rather, it forces us to ask a deeper question. Can we succeed without becoming like the people we despise? Can we navigate a ruthless world without losing ourselves in the process? The first step is to stop pretending the world is fair and to start mastering it on our own terms. Power is not evil by nature, but it is dangerous in the hands of those who have no moral compass. The challenge is not to avoid power, but to learn how to wield it with clarity, strength, and intention, not just for our survival, but for the world we want to shape. The forgotten truth about morality. We grow up believing that morality is universal, that good and evil are fixed, eternal truths. But what if this comforting idea is an illusion? Friedrich Nietzsche shattered this belief with one of his most controversial insights. Morality is not absolute. It is created by power struggles. According to Nietzsche, there are two main types of morality: master morality and slave morality. These aren't just abstract theories, they are psychological frameworks shaped by thousands of years of human conflict. Master morality is the morality of the strong, the rulers, warriors, and creators. It values strength, ambition, independence, and excellence. In this worldview, good is whatever enhances life, asserts power, and affirms one's will. A person guided by master morality doesn't ask for permission. They define their own values. They see weakness not as something to protect, but as something to overcome. They take responsibility for their destiny and refuse to be shackled by the opinions or expectations of others. In contrast, slave morality is born from weakness, from those who lack the ability to impose their will directly. Rather than celebrate strength, it praises humility, obedience, and sacrifice. It teaches that power is evil, that suffering is noble, and that submission is virtuous. This morality was not created by the powerful, but by the powerless, as a psychological defense mechanism. It allowed them to survive in a world ruled by force, by redefining their weakness as moral superiority. Nietzsche believed this inversion of values distorted human potential. It led people to worship victimhood, condemn ambition, and fear greatness. It wasn't a higher truth, it was a strategy of the defeated. And here lies the paradox. Slave morality enables the rise of the ruthless. By shaming power, by glorifying self-denial, It hands control over to those who don't care about being seen as good. While the noble-hearted hesitate, the strong take action. In a world where hesitation means defeat, the outcome is inevitable. This doesn't mean that kindness and empathy are weaknesses, but it does mean that morality, when detached from power, becomes impotent. To live only by slave morality is to give away your agency, to wait for a justice that never arrives. If you want to thrive, not just survive, you must see morality for what it is, a tool. It can guide you, ground you, and connect you to others. But it must never be used as a cage. True strength is not the absence of morality. It's the ability to choose your values consciously and live by them with power. Nietzsche's message is not to become ruthless, but to stop being naive. Goodness without strength is often ignored. Strength without goodness is dangerous. The balance is rare, but it's where real power begins. The psychology of the winners. Why do some people rise while others remain in the shadows? It's not just about intelligence, talent, or luck. It's about psychology, the mental traits that separate those who lead from those who follow. The truth is, the individuals who reach the top often don't think, feel, or act like the rest. Successful people in competitive environments, whether in business, politics, or warfare, tend to share certain characteristics. They possess high ambition, low sensitivity to fear, and, perhaps most controversially, reduced empathy for those in their way. This isn't necessarily cruelty. It's decisiveness unburdened by emotional hesitation. They don't freeze under pressure. They act, adapt, and move forward while others are still asking for permission. In evolutionary terms, this makes perfect sense. Our ancestors didn't survive because they were nice. They survived because they were efficient. Those who hesitated died. Those who acted lived. The instincts that once helped us navigate primal threats now shape modern power structures. The office, the boardroom, the battlefield, they are just updated arenas of survival. This is why the ruthless often win. Not because they are evil, but because they are unapologetically focused. They are not distracted by guilt or paralyzed by overthinking. They see a goal and move toward it, regardless of how others might feel about it. They understand something most people don't. Power is rarely given. It is taken. This does not mean that everyone at the top is a sociopath, but it does mean that many of them have trained themselves, consciously or unconsciously, to function with less emotional resistance. They make decisions others can't. They walk away from toxic relationships. They fire when others hesitate. They sacrifice comfort for control. But this power comes at a cost. Those who suppress empathy entirely risk losing their humanity. They can achieve external success and suffer internal collapse. History is full of examples. Leaders who rose to greatness and fell into madness, entrepreneurs who built empires but died empty. Without a grounding force, without inner purpose, power becomes a black hole. It consumes everything, including the one who holds it. So what can we learn from the psychology of the winners? First, stop assuming the world rewards virtue. It rewards strategy. Second, understand that fear is your enemy, not your guide. Third, develop what some call strategic empathy, the ability to read people deeply, not to feel sorry for them, but to anticipate their actions. This isn't about becoming cold, it's about becoming clear. The most powerful people are not always the strongest or the smartest. They are the ones who are most willing to move forward when everyone else is frozen by doubt. Success favors the bold, especially those who can act with both clarity and conscience. That's the mindset of a true leader. The great lie of a fair world. From a young age, we're taught a comforting narrative, that the world is fair, that good people are rewarded, and that justice always prevails. Fairy tales, religions, and school lessons all reinforce this belief. But then life happens. We step into reality and realize something deeply unsettling. The world is not fair, and it never was. You see it everywhere. The most honest workers are not always the ones promoted. The kindest hearts are often the most broken. The ones who play by the rules are frequently passed over by those who don't even acknowledge them. This isn't a glitch in the system, it is the system. This illusion of fairness is what psychologists call the just world fallacy. It's the deeply rooted belief that people get what they deserve, that bad things happen to bad people and good things happen to good people. This belief is comforting, but it's also dangerous, because it makes you passive. It teaches you to wait, for recognition, for justice, for someone to do the right thing. But while you're waiting, the ruthless are acting. They're learning the game, reading the players, and making moves. They don't believe in the myth of fairness, and that gives them a massive advantage. Because in the real world, power and success don't go to the most deserving. They go to those who understand how the game is played. This doesn't mean you have to become corrupt or heartless, but it does mean you need to wake up. Kindness without strength is ignored. Integrity without strategy is exploited. If you want to make a difference, if you want to succeed, you need more than virtue. You need vision. You need courage. And above all, you need clarity. Fairness is not something the world gives you. It's something you must create with your actions, your words, and your power. And to create fairness, you must first accept that life is not fair by default. That truth is not designed to make you cynical. It's designed to make you powerful. The most dangerous people in this world are not the wicked. They are the good people who continue to believe that goodness alone is enough. They become predictable, exploitable, and ultimately defeated. But those who combine goodness with strength, with awareness, and with strategy, those are the ones who reshape the game entirely. So what now? Stop waiting for the world to reward your virtue. Stop expecting justice to arrive on its own. Stand up. Speak clearly. Take action. The lie of a fair world only holds power as long as you believe in it. Once you see through it, you gain a new kind of freedom. Not the freedom to dominate others, but the freedom to create a new path, one built on your terms. Fairness isn't found, it's forged. The path of the Übermensch. If the world is unfair and the ruthless often win, does that mean we must become like them to succeed? Friedrich Nietzsche offers a different path, not one of cruelty or blind domination, but of transformation. He called it the path of the Übermensch, the overman, the one who rises above the herd, above conventional morality and above limitation itself. The Übermensch is not a tyrant, nor a puppet of societal rules. He is a creator, someone who forges his own destiny, shapes his own values, and refuses to be defined by weakness or victimhood. While the masses cling to safety, comfort, and approval, the Übermensch steps boldly into the unknown. He is not bound by fear, and he does not wait for permission to live fully. To become the Übermensch is to overcome yourself, to reject the stories you were taught about fairness, obedience, and guilt, and instead write your own code. It is not about controlling others. It's about mastering your inner world. While the ruthless play the short game, grabbing whatever power they can steal, the Übermensch plays the long game. He builds something lasting, something real, something that reflects the highest version of who he is. Nietzsche's idea isn't just philosophy, it's a call to action. It dares you to stop asking what the world will give you, and to start asking, what will I create despite the world? The Übermensch does not seek validation. His power comes from within. He doesn't manipulate because he doesn't need to. He doesn't dominate out of insecurity, but leads through the force of vision, clarity, and presence. While others are obsessed with appearing strong, the Übermensch actually is strong because he has nothing to prove. But make no mistake, this path is not easy. It requires brutal honesty, emotional resilience, and a deep confrontation with your own fears. You must be willing to walk alone. You must be willing to destroy your old self to give birth to something greater. This is why so few choose this path. Most people prefer comfort over growth, rules over responsibility, and acceptance over authenticity. But for those who dare, for those who are tired of being victims, tired of playing small, tired of betraying themselves just to be liked, the path of the Übermensch is the ultimate liberation. You don't need to become ruthless to win. You need to become so powerful within that the world can no longer ignore you. That's the difference. The ruthless take power. The Übermensch becomes power. So ask yourself, are you living a life you created, or one that was handed to you by fear, by family, by society? Are you reacting to life, or are you leading it? The path is narrow, it is steep, but it leads to freedom, not from the world, but from the prison of who you used to be. Is power evil or just misunderstood? Power. It's one of the most feared, desired, and misunderstood forces in human history. From kings and conquerors to CEOs and political leaders, power has shaped the course of civilization. But beneath the admiration and suspicion, one question remains. Is power inherently evil? To many, power is synonymous with corruption. Power corrupts, they say, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. We see examples of this everywhere. Leaders consumed by ego, corporations exploiting the weak, tyrants falling into madness. But Nietzsche challenges this shallow view. He believed that power is not evil in itself. Rather, power is neutral, a force of life that simply amplifies what already exists inside you. In Nietzsche's philosophy, the desire for power, the will to power, is not about controlling others. It's about overcoming yourself, transcending your limits and creating something greater. It's the force that drives you to rise after failure, to speak your truth in a world that silences, to shape your reality instead of submitting to it. If you're afraid of power, you will always be ruled by those who are not. The problem is not power, the problem is who holds it and why. When power is pursued out of insecurity, greed, or ego, it becomes destructive. But when it is rooted in self-awareness, purpose, and creation, it becomes a force for transformation, both personal and collective. Here lies the paradox. The same power that can destroy empires can also build them. The same strength used to oppress can also be used to protect, to uplift, to inspire. It all depends on the intent behind it. So why does society often view power with suspicion? Because most people have only seen it in its corrupted form. They've witnessed domination, not discipline, control, not clarity. But Nietzsche offers another perspective, that the purest form of power is not about conquest. It's about creation. It's about becoming the author of your own life, not the follower of someone else's. This is where the Übermensch differs from the tyrant. The tyrant uses power to dominate others. The Übermensch uses it to transcend himself. One feeds off fear. The other is driven by vision. One crumbles without control. The other stands tall even when alone. So no, power is not evil. It is a mirror. It reflects your inner world. If you are bitter, it will magnify your bitterness. If you are clear, it will expand your clarity. Power reveals you to the world and, more importantly, to yourself. The real question isn't whether power is dangerous. The real question is, are you strong enough to hold it without losing yourself? That's the final test. And those who pass it don't just change their lives, they change the world around them. Master power, or be mastered by it. The choice, as always, is yours. And if this video helped you grow, even if it was just 1%, sign up now. This is the Millionaire Mind. Here we don't live on the surface. We build strength from the inside out.